Welcome back to the EuroLeague Fantasy Challenge Podcast. It's a big week, it's a double week, and we're going to talk all about it. I am your co-host, Frankie Sachs. I'm here with Javier Gancedo. And let me share something, guys, let me let you behind the scenes. For the first time ever, we've goofed up, and we had some recording problems. We just did this episode, and we're doing it again because it didn't record properly.
Yes. Fantastic.
So now I know everything Javi thinks, and I can change my mind, and he won't know.
I was going to make a joke saying that it's been a while, but now people know, so not really. All right, so it's a double week, everybody, and we have a lot of topics to discuss, and we're going to go straight into them, and then we'll share, at least I'll share my team. I don't know about you, because now you are too fancy to share your team lately. You didn't last week until half an hour for the game, so it's not supposed to be like that, you know?
But until a half hour before that was when one of the players on my roster got injured. So I had to change it before that. It wouldn't have been accurate. And I think that's what we're reaching now at this point. That whatever knowledge you may have on Sunday or Monday and a regular week, even Tuesday or Wednesday, it doesn't matter till Thursday. Here in a short week, players are dropping. It's a difficult part of the season. We have to see who's traveling. Sometimes to know who you want to get. It's a tough time in Fantasy Challenge, but as I just said to you 20 minutes ago in the first episode that we didn't record, this is the time where people can make a big move. You can jump up. It's the double round week. So many games going on. Other managers can make some mistakes. Somebody might get a 0 at center, let's say, and you have to take advantage of that.
And January starts with back-to-back double weeks, which never happened before, and that's going to be very interesting too. There's a lot of games coming up, and it's going to be very exciting. And we are here to break down what's going on in the fantasy world in the EuroLeague. And the biggest news in the EuroLeague by far is that Sarunas Jasikevičius took over Fenerbahce, Beko Istanbul, and things may change. I already paid the price for it because Motley didn't play a lot, and it looks like, well, it's logical that Saras is trusting a player he knows, like Sachs. But what else can we expect? Who's going to be solid, and who could actually lose a little bit of playing time with Saras?
Well, I tried to read the tea leaves, and I thought to myself that one guy who's going to benefit a lot, at least initially, will be Nigel Hayes-Davis. We have actually spoken about the podcast he did before with Joe Arlakis on the crossover about some of the things that he said, and he actually spoke lovingly of his time about Saras, how much he learned as a basketball player, how it made him better. They obviously now see eye to eye on so many different things. So I sort of felt coming in, he knows some of the players, he knows Shanley, he knows Nick Kalathis, other guys he's obviously coached against. But I felt that he was going to lean on Hayes-Davis, and he did in that first game, and I expect to see that going forward for a little while. Aside from that, we'll have to see. The Nick Kalathis and Saras didn't always see eye to eye as player coach. They had been teammates before that, and that went well. But as player coach, it didn't always go perfectly. But in this case, as a veteran point guard, I think he will lean on him at the beginning. But there's a lot of other guys. We have to see how it's gonna fit, what the rotation will look like. Guys like Daishan Pierre, Papianis, Jan Madar, lots of guys that we have to sort of figure out where they fit in and be ready. This is the key in fantasy. When you see and you get the feel, oh, this is the new rotation. This is the guy who's going to get more minutes, more scoring opportunities. Grab those guys now and earn not just the points they put up every week, but as their value goes up.
Yeah, I agree that Nigel Hayes-Davis is the man right now, as Shane Larkin is the man in Efes. Remember, Efes is without 6 players, and they're still being very competitive under the circumstances. Tyreek Jones is rebounding the ball really well, more in the EuroLeague, which is kind of strange, than in the Turkish league. He had a PAR of 11 this weekend in a Turkish league, lost against Beşiktaş, but he's doing much better in the EuroLeague. How about that? I mean, you're surprised with Mike Down, right? I mean, he's been one of the fantasy surprises of the year. Probably you didn't expect him to play that well, but he's doing really well and giving Efes a lot in the 4 and 5 positions.
Yeah, we'll talk later a little bit about guys who are EuroLeague rookies and the time that it sometimes takes to adjust. I've been surprised at how quickly Mike Daum has stepped in and made an impact. The other guy in this equation is Dan Oturu, who had a very big game in the last Turkish League game. It kind of makes me nervous. All of these, guys in the front court, different matchups. Why is Jones having better numbers in the EuroLeague and Oturu in the Turkish League? Is that just a fluke? I would say yes, it's just a fluke. And that's what makes me nervous about having Tyreek Jones, who I am tentatively starting this week, or having as my turn 2 center. Because Alturo was undoubtedly talented, and if you just put up another big game in the Turkish league, who's to know that he won't get the guy be the guy that gets 25 minutes at center this week? But Daum has proven to be an excellent stretch 4, and until Clyburn is back, or a bunch of the other guys are back, really, who knows? Any piece of that puzzle will change things as they come back. Whether it's Zizic, Clyburn. But right now, Daum looks great. He's adjusted quickly. He's getting the minutes, taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. Another team that I think was the biggest surprise of last week was Milano beating Barca in Palau. Not just because it's a talented team, but winning in Palau Blaugrana is always a surprise. And they did it without point guards. Maodo is injured, and Kevin Pangos is not with the team. Messina had to improvise, and he decided to use Diego Flacadori and Devon Hall, not necessarily point guards, but they're playing the one position now. They had huge games, and they're playing in the Italian league also without these two players, Low and Pangos. I think they have a lot of fantasy value, both Hall and Flacadori. I'd rather take Hall over Flacadori. I think he's going to play more. But these two players are worth following, and in my case, I'm buying Devon Hall this week.
I think anytime someone has a breakout game in this type of situation, it's worth following and seeing. But they had not played well until this point. Hall had a more meaningful role, but he was not enough that I would call him fantasy relevant. Flacadori had a very small role until now. So the loss of Mo Dolo creates more opportunity. But just 2 weeks ago, Mo Dolo in his last game before he got hurt played 13 minutes, and neither of them had much of an impact. And Milan has not been super consistent. So personally, as a slightly more conservative player than you are, these are guys who I would hold off on. But you're not a good player if you're not keeping an eye on them and trying to figure out when is the right time, if there is a right time to get them. They are certainly players worth following.
All right, and there are 3 teams that we want to talk about who play Tuesday and Friday. Alba Berlin is the one that plays twice at home, and they're going to get Fenerbahce, who plays on Wednesday. They're going to play in Berlin on Friday. And you seem to like that very much, and you're considering, maybe not for round 14, but also, for the second round of the week, you're considering Alba players big time, right?
Well, I have Gabriel Procida on my roster already, and I'm almost certainly gonna keep him. I would imagine at 7.7 credits, he's someone worth having. But yeah, I think there's a lot to see from that lineup. They get the extra day of rest now that Fenerbahce is traveling, so there's some small advantages there, and that's a game that I would look to for players for the second round. Tiemann's been excellent this season, and maybe he's someone who I might want to pick up for later in the week. And there's a lot of other underpriced guys that's the type of game that you want to pick them up. The only downside is you don't want to gamble too much on the lower priced guys on a Friday game, because if they don't hit, then you're stuck. But it is a game that's worth keeping an eye on. There is some extra value there. I know there's one player now that you like a lot.
Yeah, Sterling Brown, I like him a lot. He had a decent PIR of 9, not playing too much. I think he's going to be back to 25, 26 minutes very soon, and then he'll have potential to do. Actually, I like the idea a lot. I didn't think about it, but you brought it up half an hour ago in the podcast that we didn't record. I like him. I'm gonna buy him for the second round of the week, and thank you for that, because sounds good.
I am here to help.
I know.
But you also, it's good to have ideas who you want for the second round of the week, but you just don't know what's going to happen within your roster. You may end up in a situation where you can't get him because of other injuries at different positions. That's the trickiness, that you can have it all set up though. Oh, this is the guy who I'm going to get next round, and then you're burned at another position. Or
I'm willing to sell, I don't know, Shane Larkin, and then he has a 41 PAR like he had the other day, and then I won't sell it.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Barca, I think I like the bigs a lot, but I like one big per game. I like Hernan Gomez playing against Alba, and I like Vesely because he has more experience, can hit the mid-range jumper better against Zalgiris in Kaunas. So Okay, they have back-to-back road games, but like you said, they have an extra day to rest. I like the bigs, but you seem to be going in a different direction, right?
Not a different. I also like the bigs. There's a lot of value there in the bigs. I just think it's a wait and see situation. I think you want to see who might play more on Tuesday and is therefore likely to play maybe less on Friday, especially if they're able to win both games comfortably. At this point in the season, with the injuries piling up on a lot of different teams, you have to imagine and those guys are both, neither of them are young players, and they both have had injuries in the past. I can't imagine that Coach Grimal is going to see 70 minutes within the two games out of either of them. So if you see one guy plays a lot more on Tuesday, whether it's because the matchup's working or foul trouble or whatever the reason is, then you may want to lean more on the second guy for the game on Friday against Žalgiris, whoever it is. Those are two players who are both similarly priced, and they're both giving pretty good production for their value. Neither of them are putting up 35, 40 PIRs, but you can't look for that at every position. And if you know that you're going to get 18, 20 out of them, that's good. That's good, solid value. And I had Vesely on my team last week, and I was happy with it. But I'm not keeping him for the game against Alba, just because the matchup with Kumaji makes me nervous.
Yeah, I mean it can go either way. Quickly, because we are running out of time, but we have to talk about Baskonia. I think Moneke is a solid choice any week, and particularly this week, because Baskonia, they play against two of the worst defensive teams of the league, Maccabi and Efes. They're also up-tempo teams, and Moneke is a good choice. I also like Taras Keskis, who hasn't been playing well lately, but especially against Efes, with all the injuries they have at the 3 and 4 positions. Tadas looks like a very, very good choice. I would recommend Moneke for the whole week instead of Keskis for the second game. But you wanted to talk about Marcus Howard, who you think is a good choice this week, right?
First of all, I want to say, Javier, you're doing an excellent job reading the notes that I sent you and treating them as if it's your own research. So that is great.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I appreciate that.
It makes you look good also. It looks like I know.
It does make you look good. I'll just jump back on what you said, though. I agree with Moneke. With Sedekirkus, the minutes have dropped a little bit in the last 3 games. And that's made me a bit nervous, right? For me, the whole thing is you want minutes and you want opportunity and talent. The talent we've seen, he's having an incredible season. But if something's changed, and I have not seen Baskonia enough for the last 2 weeks to say what might have changed, but the minutes have dipped. Maybe if you've seen the game, you could say it's a fluke or a matchup thing. And I'm not sure what to think of those guys with the matchup with Banzi Colson, who is an incredibly energetic player at Maccabi. I am going with Moneke. I think at this point he's just accident proof. He's just going to put up numbers every week. He's been dynamite. Sedekirkus, I kind of want to wait. I hope it doesn't blow up in my face, but I kind of want to wait. Howard is a player I'm a bit nervous about also. I'm glad that he's playing on Tuesday, so I have the chance to make up for it if there's a mistake. But I think, again, in what could be a game with a lot of pace, there's an opportunity there for him to make a lot of shots. Traditionally, Maccabi has actually struggled guarding three-point shooters. That's going back to last season, even it's the same guards. I think he'll be able to get his threes up. It's a question of if they go in. If he makes a bunch of threes, he could put up big, he can do a lot of damage. So he is somebody who's on my team right now.
Remember, Baskonia had a club record, 120 points against Maccabi last year, and Howard was there. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I want to share my team. I'm going to explain for people in audio platforms, but you're going to see on the screen if you're on YouTube. My coach is Roger Grimao of Barca, who you had last week and lost, but I think the Barca is going to win in Berlin, and that's why I'm going to get him. I have 4 players playing on Tuesday. One is Giuseppe Puerto, who I trust a lot, despite being 4.1 credits, because he plays at home, and the loss of Lopez Arostegui and Ojelai gives him extra playing time. Then I have Hessonia, who has been fantastic lately, Toko Shengelia, and I have Eddie Tavares as my main player, team captain, and the player I'm recommending this week. Madrid plays Zvezda on the road, then they play Partizan in a rematch of the playoff series last year at home at Withing Center. Tavares should be dominant. I think he's going to be really good. And on the bench, I have Dawson Giedraitis and Mantsukas from last week. I bought Devon Hall, like I said, because the point guard situation in Milan kind of suggests that he's going to be okay. And then my surprise signing at center, backup center, is Kostas Antetokounmpo. Why? Because he had a PR of 4 the other day with 2 blocks, and he missed 5 free throws, meaning that he can do much better if he hits those. And I think Coach Ottoman spoke really well about him after the game, and I think he's going to see some minutes from now on. If not, then he'll be the first player to go out in between rounds. But I expect big things. I think he's over Balcherovsky in the rotation now. I like him. I think he's going to be okay. But the main signing is Tavares. Let's face it. I'm not waiting for Antetokounmpo to step on the court, and I just keep him as a bench player because I really think Tavares is going to have 2 monsters games this week.
So I'm going with Naji as my starting center with Tyreek Jones as the backup, and I also have Coach Grimau. If Barcelona is able to jump out and grab that game, control it, Naji could get more minutes for all the reasons said before. Barcelona's 2 great centers, but they don't want to. At the front end of a double week, if you could give your young guy more run in a game that turns into blowout, then do that. And if not, then I have Tyreek Jones on the bench. At forward, I've got Procida, PJ Dozier, Moneke, and Nigel Hayes-Davis. And at guard, I have Howard, Larkin, Nunn, and Giedraitis. And 2 guys who I like. You like to talk about who's the guy if you had no price limits that you would go with. If you told me that situation, well, I'd say I don't want someone, although I have Larkin for 17 credits. But what I'm more excited about is 2 guys in the 11-point range in Dozier and Nunn, who I think are EuroLeague rookies who it took them a while to really feel it. They've been good until now, but now I think they're really in it. They're feeling their coaches. They're feeling the system. These are guys who I'm really excited for over the next couple of weeks. I hope that they'll become mainstays of my lineup. And I'm quite excited about if I stick with this lineup. I still do have some questions, and one of them is about Jones, who we spoke about before. But I wanted a good turn 2 center to go with the strategy with Naji for turn 1. But for the most part, I'm really excited about the potential of this lineup. It's a deep lineup. It's a lot of players here, and I'm looking forward to staying ahead of you.
All right, well, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much for watching. As always, very good luck to you, fantasy managers, this week. Remember, you can follow us in our social media accounts at Missy EuroLeague. It's Frankie. I am Gancedo with double T on Twitter or X. And, well, enjoy the double round. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great Turkish Airlines EuroLeague games. And they can the Fantasy Challenge only makes things better. It's going to be... How cool is to follow the EuroLeague with the Fantasy Challenge, huh?
It makes every game more exciting. Absolutely.
All right. Take care and see you a week from now. And let's see how the double round went and what can we expect in the final round of 2023, the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. See you next time.
Good luck, everybody.